Hey, family, and welcome to the Living Her Truth show, where we have honest conversations between sisters on what it means to live your truth authentically. I'm your host, LaKitia Woodard, and I am here and ready to have another moment of truth with you to give you the encouragement that you need to walk into your greatness. And tonight's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn Strategy by Nnenna. Did you know that LinkedIn is the most underutilized networking resource for small businesses and your budding career? Learn how to stop using LinkedIn as a landing page for your resume and turn it into a results-generating magnet for growing your business or building your career. All you have to do is schedule an appointment with Nnenna, your LinkedIn strategist, by visiting linkedin.achievementconsulting.org/schedule. And make sure to leave in the comments Living Her Truth to get 30% off your 2-hour session. And you guys, this is something that you want to sign up for today because the offer ends on April 1st. And don't worry, I'll make sure to leave all the information in the description box so you can schedule your appointment today. So I am so excited for this conversation, you guys, on tonight with my friend, and I say that from the bottom of my heart. Like, this is my little sister. I have adopted her. She's my little sister. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Nnenna. Nnenna, thank you so much for saying yes to having this conversation with me.
Of course. I am so happy to be here. I watch your show almost every Monday, and if I don't, I catch it on the repeat. I love you. I love everything you do, and I love living her truth.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the support. You guys, Nnenna has been a huge support to me and to A Sister's Truth. You know, I like to start off every episode telling you how I met the person that I interview. When Nnenna and I met, it's March. It's going to be 3 years ago.
No.
I think it's been 3 years.
No. Oh my gosh. What?
Where is the time going?
Oh my goodness. No.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, Nnenna and I met 3 years ago, you guys. Because
I don't believe that. I actually don't believe that. 3 years? No. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
It's been 3 years, and we met at a networking event. If you guys have been following Nnenna, of course we met at a networking event.
Of course.
This, right? So we met at a networking event. Women Global, I think. What's the name of the network?
Women to Women Global. Yes.
Women to Women Global. Yes. Woman to Woman Global. It was a networking event out in the Heights. And, you know, we just clicked, you know, we just got together.
Yes.
It was a bunch of us that got together. We were talking. Nnenna and I clicked. You know, she asked me about my business, of course. I told her about my business. She was like, "Ooh, I love that. And you know what? I got somebody that I can refer to you." Then she started asking me questions like, you know, what's the age range of your client? Are you willing to work with somebody, you know, that's doing this and doing that? And I was like, sure, I help anybody out, you know? And she was like, okay, I'm going to refer somebody to you. And so she did, and I was able to help the young lady out. And so now she's doing amazing things in the world, of course. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. No, really, she is. She's getting her MBA at Howard University. She actually is.
She actually is, you guys.
She is.
And so, you know, after that, we met up. And just been meeting up ever since. Like, Nnenna is the sweetest, most down-to-earth person that you can possibly ever meet. She is the smartest person I have ever met. I truly, up until this day, I didn't know if I would ever meet anybody as driven or even more driven than I am. Like, before we got on this call, I was telling her, I was like, this is making me feel bad about myself. Like, what have I been doing with my life? Because college already, but it's all in good fun, you guys. So I'm super excited to have a conversation with you tonight. Super excited. Tell us a little bit more about you and your business, please. Tell us more.
So my name's Nnenna Umelo, and I am a higher education consultant. So I'm basically a lifelong nerd. I started my business because I love education. I love learning. I love growing. I'm very passionate about that. My life mission is to be the most trusted voice in higher education, period. So whenever you need something about, like, you need to know something about college, grad school, trade school, higher education policy, like, I want to be that woman. So I started my career as a higher education consultant very early, actually. I was fortunate enough to find my passion when I was in college. So I started October 2016 when I was a junior at the University of Houston, go Cougs. And then I've been pushing for it ever since. I like to call my business my baby because I put so much into her. She is the love of my life. I cradled her. So my baby is about 2.5 years old. And I had another baby in January. And her name is LinkedIn Strategy by Nnenna Umelo. So I'm a serial entrepreneur. My business is my baby. I love what I do. I love higher education. I love career development. I love stuff. So it all works together.
Yeah. And you guys, she's being really, really modest. If you don't know, if you've been living on the rock, you don't know who Nnenna is. This girl was able to pay for her college education all through scholarships. She believes that everybody should have an education and don't pay for it. She says student loans are the devil. I agree with that. She currently got accepted into an international master's program where she is going to pay for it 100% scholarships, and I know that she's going to do it. So you got to follow her on social media, Facebook, and definitely Instagram. Follow her journey because she is actually documenting her journey on how she's going to pay for her grad school education all through scholarships.
And there's no magic involved, guys. Like sometimes some weeks are better than others. It's a very step-by-step, faith, prayerful experience because I need $69,000 by September. So it's not like a magical success story. It is a success story. There's just no magic in it. It's all hard work. Hard work and putting in the time and putting in the work. And that requires, living your truth. Living your truth, you're going to have to put in the work to do. If you guys been following me for any length of time, you know that living her truth means to have the courage to embrace all aspects of who you are and present that person to the world. So if you are the person who wants to go to school and get a higher education and don't pay for it, then that's what you need to present to the world, and you need to, do the work that's necessary. So it is so important for us to live in our truth, and that's the basis for this show. So Nnenna, in your opinion, how important is it to live the truth? I don't like the alternatives, right? Because what's the alternative? Living a lie? That's not living. That's death. I don't like what else am I supposed to do, right? Like, tell me the other choice to living my truth, because if I don't live my truth, well, the opposite of truth is a lie. And what's the point of doing that? Like, I'm too young to live a lie. And I don't like the other choices. So I have to live my truth. And I love, I'm fortunate because I found my passion very early. I love what I do. And it's not just what I do, it's who I am. Right. And I get that person every day. It's not easy, right? Just because I love it doesn't mean that it's easy to do, but it's a life that is worth living for me, which is why I do it.
And don't let her be modest. She told her daddy in 8th grade, was it 8th grade? That he was not going to have to pay for her college. So did you truly find your passion in college, or did you find it?
It's right. It's nurture versus nature. So my family's Nigerian, if you guys don't know, and education is a very high
Yeah.
priority in the
Yeah.
Nigerian household. So I was going to college before I could walk because our family's Nigerian. That's the thing, right? Like you are going. And my father was a real estate agent. And during the 2008 recession, the recession crashed in our family. And my father is a proud man. I was in middle school during the time. So sometimes we'd come home and the lights weren't working and the fridge was empty. And we did not know what was happening, but we knew things were very tight. So back then I'm thinking, oh, what can I do to support my father? What can I do to help our family? Oh, my family's Nigerian. What can help? Don't pay for college. You're still going, right? You're still going, but don't pay for it. So I told him, hey, daddy, don't worry about it. I'll pay for college. I can do that. And then it hit the fan and I had to do it. And 4,000 applications later, I'm a college graduate, no student loans.
4,000. That was not the video did not flicker. Like you heard that correctly. When she said you have to put in the work, like she means you have to put in the work.
Yeah.
You know, I first met Nnenna, I didn't think that she was a college student. Like I didn't think that she was like super old either, like me or even my age. But I didn't like college student. It just never crossed my mind. So when I found out she was in college, like, because when we met, it was your second. Was it your second year? The end of your second year?
It was my junior year. It was
your junior year.
My junior year, I believe. Yeah. And that was definitely on purpose. That was 100% on purpose. Like, so when I went networking and stuff, I purposefully put on like a front and I tried to project myself to be as old and as mature as possible because I went to a networking event, one of my first networking events, like right after I started my business. And long story short, my legitimacy, my credibility was discounted because of my age. Like once they found out that I believe I was 19 or 20 at the time. Like once they found out how young I was, all of a sudden I was somebody's granddaughter, somebody's great granddaughter, somebody's niece. I was infantilized. It was so irritating and I couldn't reestablish all the ground. Like once you have someone 3 times your age telling you how to do your job, it's over. Yeah. You're done. So since then, I always made it a point to be like as old as possible, like as like mature, as well established. If anyone ever asked me if I was a college student, what college I went to, I said I was a Coug, go U of H, just stuff that was as generic as possible because you would think, oh, being young and driven is like an asset. No, that's not that, at least for me, that's not the way it worked. Like being young and being in college was actually a detriment. So I did not tell anyone how old I was or where I was even a college student. I think, when did I end up telling you, Keisha? Like, I think I told you near graduation, actually.
Yes. Yeah. It was like near graduation because, and then it was just so casually because you was just like, you know, Keisha, I want to invite you to my graduation. I'm like, yo, graduation? Like, really? Like, what? Like, I didn't even understand that. You know, you guys, Nnenna just said something that was very poignant, and I want you guys to like really just hear what she just said because, you know, she could have easily let that man, because it was an older guy. Because I've heard the story before. So it was an older guy that made this comment to her.
Multiple
and pretty much
men, not just one or two. Multiple men.
And so I treated her as if she was their grandchild. Now, anyone else would have shrunk in that moment and probably like stepped away from her business. But she didn't do that. She kept pushing forward and took the necessary steps that she needed to take to keep herself, you know, motivated and uplifted. Process. And that's something that we don't do. We tend to, you know, take in what other people say about us, analyze it and then turn that into a truth instead of like saying, you know what, I'm not even going to accept that. I'm going to let that roll off, you know, and the next time I find myself in this position, this is what I'm going to do differently. Because at the end of the day, we need to protect our own peace. We need to protect our own energy and protect our own mindset. Like that protection starts with us. And you don't have to like answer everybody's question and be so forthcoming. Like I'm transparent with my story because that's what's the part of my purpose. But when it comes to you, like you don't have to tell nobody your age and that you've been schooling doing X, Y, and Z. You know, if that's not what you feel comfortable with saying and sharing with someone, especially if they're going to, you know, belittle you in the situation, you know, because you don't want to do that. And I've known Nnenna for 3 years, and if she has presented herself in that situation, the way she presents herself to me when I first met her, and every meeting thereafter, like I know she went in there, you know, represented as a businesswoman. This is who I am. She didn't come across as some young, you know, naive teenager who don't know what they're talking about. Like I know she presented herself in a professional manner because like I knew her for like a year and didn't know that she was in college and never even questioned her intelligence, her age, or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So I really want to bring home that point. I hope you guys got that. And also when I found out Nnenna was in college, I was like super impressed with her so much because, you know, when I was in college at her age, like starting a business wasn't even on the mind, like at all, because our journeys are so different. You know, at the time, at the age that I met Nnenna in school, for me, I was going through like therapy sessions and my healing process. So I was in a totally different mindset. So when I met her, it was just like, wow, if I could have done that in college, I would be, you know, so far along. And that's something else we don't want to do either. We don't want to fall, you know, into comparisons either. You know, whatever your journey is, take your journey for what it is and be happy in your journey and just know that things happen for a reason. And then celebrate the other person, you know, that you are comparing yourself to. Celebrate that person instead of comparing yourself, you know, to that person. Because I know, you know, in college, junior year, you know, you're trying to figure yourself out. You're trying to figure out whether or not, you know, you're going to go in a certain career that you started in school for. Because I don't know about you, Nnenna, but when I started college, people change their majors all the time. So it's a lot going on in your junior year. Because junior year, this is when you really need to get out your major. Yeah. Like, right? You know, take those
that wasn't my story, but I understand the narrative. Like, with college specifically, I knew what college major I wanted to do for like years before I went into college, because that's me, right? But like my junior year was a transition point for me because I started my business at that time. And I was an entrepreneur and a college student. And at the same time, I was doing interviews too. So it was weird, like doing interviews and being a businesswoman at the same time, and like trying to figure out, like, I love what I do so much. Can I do what I do full time? Being realistic at the same time, because like I still wanted a job, but I have a job, right? Like I'm an entrepreneur, but also like 21, 22, and there's so much more I want to do. Right? So like, there was so much back and forth during that time. There was so much like trying to figure it out. And a part of my detriment, like a part of the learning curve that I experienced during my junior and senior year of college is that like, I love order. I love planning. I like to see things through. I'm a very visionary person. But during that time, I just did not know, like, where would I be after graduation? Can I do achievement consulting full time? And can I work for someone else full time as well? Obviously I can, but what does that path look like for me?
Right.
Like, what can I do for myself, and how do I pave that forward? Because I still need to make rent, right? I was living in Houston, like I still need to feed myself. Like, no, I don't have student loans, but I have like an internet bill, right? And of course my dad will help me, right? But I want to be independent at the same time, because my dad has his own goals and his own life to live, right? And I'm 20, well, right now I'm 23, but back then I was like 21, 22, and I wanted to like grow in my own independence. So during that time was a lot of transition, a lot of trying to figure out. And one thing that I learned the hard way was that you cannot plan as much as you want to be prepared and responsible and plan things out. Like, there are just some things that you have to wait until you get there to know. You know what I mean? Like, if for me, I thought I would be like dropping off into a bottomless pit after graduation, because there was no security, and I kept on trying to like plan out months in advance. But like, until I graduated May 2018, there's no way of knowing where I'm going to be at. Like, there's just no way of knowing until I get there. So that's one thing I had to learn the hard way. Like with grad school, I had no idea I was going to go to grad school this early. I thought I was going to wait a couple years and then go back to grad school. But y'all went to grad school in September, about a year and a half, by my timeline, a year and a half early, but by God's timeline, perfectly on time. So everything worked out. But y'all, learning that was really hard for me, because I like order, I like planning, and I just had to wait until I get there to know like what's there, like what's happening. So that was my transition point.
Yeah, and that is so awesome, because that's a lot to go through, your junior year in college, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of college students doing way less with higher levels of stress. So with that being said, like, how are you able to pick yourself up when you was feeling, discouraged or just let down, so you can stay motivated and stay on the path and continue to run your business while going?
Yeah, so here's another mistake I made. I did not give myself enough time or permission to be disappointed, discouraged, or upset, right? Like, I thought like, let me.
Wait. You got to say that again, because people didn't hear in the background. They didn't hear you way back there. You got to say that again.
I did not give myself permission to be disappointed, discouraged, or upset. And I should have done that. I should have given myself more permission to be.
Yes, I love that.
I thought like, I have to get back up and go forward and move 100 miles per hour because I was trying to meet these deadlines. But like, because I'm so invested and I'm so passionate in everything that I do, when things don't work out, I'm upset. This wasn't like a little like playground project for me. It's my career. So when something in my career, especially something that I'm personally invested in, does not work out, I am upset. And and what I should have done was I should have cried. I should have taken a break. I should have gone to a safe space. What I did instead is I pivoted, and then I ran 1,000,000 miles in the other direction, just trying to gain ground. And that wasn't healthy because there was no recovery period. So now, moving forward, what I do is I'm more methodical and I give myself more breaks. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going in this direction. Let me try to, let me see how this goes, number one. And if it works out, great. But in case I run into a wall, I'm going to be hurt. And if I'm hurt, then what do I need to do to like protect my sanity, my peace of mind? And I go into that therapeutic self-healing mode, because otherwise I'm going to run myself into the ground, and I don't want to do that.
Man, I love that. I really hope you guys caught that nugget and started chewing on it so you can digest that, because we need to give ourselves permission to fail. I truly believe that failure needs to become our best friend. And failure is something that we need to expect every single day, because in order to win, we have to fail. And we have to give ourselves permission to, to fail, to make mistakes, to mess up. I like the fact that Nnenna is really good with pivoting and everything, but you have to address your feelings and the emotions, the anger, that you're going through at that moment before you pivot and shift. Because if not, all you're doing is just piling it on. And then later on down the line, you're going to be even more stressed out, even more frustrated. Then you're going to fall into a depression. You have no idea why. Right? And let's just be honest, we don't take the time to really understand our feelings and emotions anyway, because if we did, we'll be more self-aware. Because I know for me, I can get into a funk and not even know why I'm in a funk. And so I would sit down and ask myself, okay, why am I feeling this way? Like, what happened this week to make me feel like this today? And so when I think back and whatever that situation is, then I make a decision to, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. Let me go ahead and turn this around. And then now I'm able to really, think clearly and create clearly in my business, because a lot of these mindset blocks that I know I personally have when it comes to my business, it's because I just let some stuff pile up and I haven't dealt with it. And we have to deal with whatever it is that's going on before we make that pivot and shift. So when we get to that next level, we can, get there authentically and be to create, like we need to, and put our best foot forward. So that's something that we need to do. So thank you so much for being honest and transparent with that, because, I feel like, in this day and age, it's all about hustle. Next sale, that next this, that next that. And I am
too, but I'm also about my health and my sanity.
Absolutely. You have to find harmony in that. You have to find harmony in that. And it's so crazy because my husband asked me the other day. He was like, do you truly believe that if you want something that's purpose driven, that's aligned with your purpose, do you think that do you think it's considered work? Because he heard somebody say that, if you do what it is that you're passionate about, if you're working in your purpose, according to your purpose, you'll never work a day in your life. And so I was just like, I've heard that too. I was like, but let me think on that for a second. Let me think on that. Because I don't know, because I'm in this space now. I'm like, I don't know if that's 100% true, because at the end of the day, KFC is still work.
It is still at the.
It's still work. So it's okay to question what's been considered acceptable to the masses. That's the point I'm trying to make. Sometimes we just need to question, our ideology we've had for so long, and that's completely okay. It's completely okay. That.
And honestly, to answer that question, I would say yes. Like, okay, it is work, but it's a different type of work, right? Because like when you're living is work, right? When you're living your truth, or when you're living your passion, you're actively doing something, right? Like you wake up early at an ungodly hour to work, to make progress on this vision in your mind and your heart, right? Like it is work, because you're working towards something. It's something that you're passionate about. So it's not emotionally draining, it's fulfilling, but it still takes energy. It still takes work. And there are days, months, weeks, actually, that I need a break. Like I have to separate myself from my life's work, because I'm working and I'm also quite human. And if I don't give myself the opportunity to reset myself and to like just reboot, you know what I mean? I'm going to burn myself out. And that's not, this episode is going to be all about mistakes. That's another mistake that I made, is because I love what I do. Don't get me wrong. I love what I do, but I was doing it so hard for so long that I burned myself out, and I almost gave up on what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's how discouraged I was. That's how depressing everything was. I almost gave up on something that I truly enjoy doing every single day, because I'm human. I'm very, very human. And even though I'm passionate about it, it still takes energy. It's still draining. And if I'm not cognizant about it, if I'm not self-aware enough, then I'm going to end up hurting myself, burning out. I'm going to end up abandoning something that's truly like a part of me. And that's not, I'm going to end up living a lie at that point, because that's not something that's good for myself.
Absolutely. And we had to make sure that we, have the courage to take that time to take, because a lot of us, we go, and it's like, we don't want to take a break, don't want to take a nap, because we tell ourselves that it's just not enough time in the day. And the truth is, there is enough time in the day. It's how you're spending your day. When you're working on something that's passionate, like before the call, I told you that, I got up this morning at like 5 o'clock in the morning, to work on my business, because I just want to get some progress done. That's me. That's not me waking up frustrated, pulling out my hair, begrudgingly waking up at 5 a.m. I'm pumped up at 5 a.m. because I'm ready to get started. So, but it's still work. So by the time my husband and I, do something later on tonight, I would have been at work for like 11, 12 hours, but it doesn't feel like work, because I'm doing something that I passionately, absolutely love. But that doesn't mean that it's not work. So yes, so you guys, if you need to, take a break, please do so. Take a break, reboot, especially if you're someone in the industry like I am, listen to everybody else's problems all the time. Like, you have to take time for yourself, and your cup back up so you can pour into your clients and your family. Because if you're the life coach in the family, I'm pretty sure everybody is calling you for motivation and advice. So you have to make sure that you're constantly pouring into yourself so you can pour into everybody else. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, Nnenna, I can imagine how crazy, like, your school schedule was, along with, starting a business and running a business at that time. So
networking events.
And the networking events. How do you create authentically when it comes to either your business and school, when you were in school, or both?
And even now, right? The process of authenticity. So number one, me personally, I get bored easily. So when it comes to creating authentically, creativity is an outlet, because I have an attention span. I have attention span like problem. I cannot sit still and do one thing if I'm not interested in it. If I love what I'm doing, then I can do it for hours on end. But like, when it comes to creating authentically, it's normally sparked out of like a what ifism. Like, what if something was like this? Or why isn't something like that? Or what if I did this? You know what I mean? It's out of like a natural curiosity in me. So when it comes to creating authentically, it's a lot of journaling. It's a lot of asking what if, what about, why not this way, why not that way. It's a lot of talking. Like, I'm an external processor, so I process my ideas through talking about it, even if I'm just talking to myself. But it's a lot of having conversations. And then it's also downtime. Because I'm living my truth, it manifests naturally. But like when I'm stressed out, when I'm tied up, sometimes it gets blocked. So when I'm on vacation, when I'm having an opportunity just to chill, like I start thinking about those things naturally because I love what I do. It's a part of my lifestyle, right? So I am a nerd. So when I have an opportunity to think, I start thinking about like higher education, travel, degrees, careers, like that's just stuff I naturally think about because I am who I am. So I give myself freedom and I give myself time to really like decompress and take the pressure out of it.
I love that. I love how she said, because I'm living my truth, it comes naturally, meaning creativity comes naturally. You know, we have to become more self-aware and understand, you know, who we are, what's going on with us, what's needed to hit that reset button. Like, what is it that we need to help re-energize us so we can create authentically, you know, because that comes when you're operating at your best self, right? And your best self doesn't necessarily have to mean that you're winning a whole bunch of awards or getting a whole bunch of recognition or anything like that. Operating best self to me means, you know, being emotionally together, even if it is just for a moment. Operating at your best means to take that break when you know it's needed, because you know when you're about to feel burnt out. Like, you make the decision not to do anything about it because you put everybody else before you. So operating at your best self is knowing when to make yourself priority. And that's not selfish. It's selfless. It's not selfish. So I love that you shared that with us. And you having a whole bunch of wisdom for somebody that's 23 years old.
I've made mistakes. It's because I've made mistakes. The best wisdom comes from the mistakes we live. I lived these mistakes.
Yeah. So who said we learn from millennials? Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
And another thing I will say about being burnt out is when you're living your truth and the idea of living in your purpose makes you tired, you need to reset. Even if you're doing something that you love, when the idea of like getting up and doing that activity over and over again makes you tired and it's something that you love to do, that's when you're burnt out. Because sometimes it's hard to tell, like if you love what you do so much and you're doing it all day, you don't hate it, but like there comes a time when you wake up and you're like, I don't really want to do this. And when you wake up feeling that way, you need a vacation.
And if you wake up feeling that way, don't beat yourself up and don't, second guess whether or not you're actually working on your purpose. Like, it's going to happen. You're human, we're imperfect. We are going to feel that way. Because let me tell you, I get frustrated with ASC all the time. And it's part of being an Nnenna, I talk to her about my frustration all the time. But that doesn't mean that I'm giving up on it. And by no means am I doubting whether or not I am, putting my purpose in action, because I am. So don't beat yourself up over that either. So I don't want you guys to do that. So Nnenna, you started your business. We already established you started your business your junior year of college. So does that mean you need to break into the industry, higher education industry? Is it easy or is it kind of difficult?
Okay. For me, externally. So if you are looking from the outside in, it was easy because I was a student. I know what I'm talking about, right? So like my job title is higher education consultant. I help people go to college, grad school, or trade school with scholarships. And because I earned $80,000 in scholarships, I know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So from the outside looking in, it was easy because I was doing it. I did not need to get certified. I don't need to go to training. I don't need to do any of that because I know what I'm talking about, right? So from the outside looking in, it was easy. Now, from the inside looking out, it was challenging because it took me a while to self-identify. Like I know personally, internally what I'm passionate about, and I just live it naturally. So trying to like describe and like put it into concise words to communicate to other people, very difficult. Like I started my business October 2016, but it took me almost a year and a half to come up with a title. Like I thought, like I was calling myself a consultant, achievement consultant, whatever. It took me a year and a half to call myself like a higher education consultant, right? Because it was like a process. It took me a year and a half to figure out exactly what services and value I offer, even though I've been doing it forever. Like I can talk you through the whole higher education, college, trade school, whatever, grad school, study abroad, whatever. I can talk you through the entire process. But when it comes to communicating it in a way to someone who does not understand, like to make it make sense, that took time. It took time to understand the industry as a whole, because like when I came into it, it was me being like authentic to myself. Like I love education. Everyone should get this opportunity to transform their lives. But the higher education industry is not like that, right? So for example, with my competitors, which I don't truly consider competitors, and we can talk about that later, but with what other people would consider as competitors, they're targeting, of course they're genuine, right? I'm not going to say that they're like and stuff, but like when I was looking at that and looking at myself and how we interact with the market, it's different because of me. Like I was 20 years old when I started my business, and how a 20-year-old engages with the market and how these other established businesses, like I was competing against people who have been doing this since I was born. Like, like 1990, 1995, that years and years and years, they have established offices and all of that. So if you look at the resources and the capital, yeah, you could say it was difficult because I was starting from scratch from my laptop and my car, and they had PhDs and masters, and I was in my junior year of college. So from the outside looking in, it may have looked like challenging, and it may have looked one way, but from the inside, it looked a different way. So I don't know if that answers your question, but like it was a matter of like finding my own lane and being confident in what I do and being able to authentically and accurately communicate my value the right way to the right people. That was the most challenging part. And then once I figured that out, I started another business. Like I had another baby. As soon as I figured out, like that's literally what happened. Like as soon as I figured out how all of this works, January comes around, I'm like, okay, let me start another business. So
yes, you did answer my question. And I love the fact how you said from the outside looking in, it can look difficult, but being in the midst of it, it wasn't that difficult. How many of you listening to us right now is looking at something and judging it outside looking in, and it looks difficult, and because it looks difficult, you're not even going to try it out? But if you were to just go after it, it probably won't be as difficult as you think, right? Because on the outside looking in, you don't have all the facts, right? You're just going off of what you can see on this, and you're judging and thinking it's complicated, it's hard. But in actuality, it's probably not. Because what you need to do is jump in there, full throttle, and find your lane and go about it in your unique, authentic way, which what Nnenna did.
Yeah.
So like, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
That right there is going to free up a lot of people. I think it's going to free up a lot of people for sure. So tell us what's next. You mentioned,
next?
You started out a business in January. So what's next for your brand?
Okay, so moving forward, I'm actually working on my first online course, which I'm really excited about. It's about scholarships and how to get scholarships at grad school, how to get scholarships at college. I'm living the experience. I might as well document it. So I really want to create those online courses and have them out by the summer. So it frees me up to do more stuff while I'm in grad school. And pivoting to another industry as well. So, and I want to grow my second baby. Like, I'm excited to see her grow. Like, I feel like a new mom again. Like, with my first baby, I was really nervous, right? Because I wanted her to grow and I wanted everyone to see the beauty in her. And I made a lot of mistakes. But now with my second baby, I feel like I'm more confident as a mother and I have the resources in place to really help her be successful. And I feel like I'm not going to make those same mistakes. So I'm excited to give her what she needs to have a better start. And it's kind of like mommy guilt too, because I wish I had all those resources with my first baby, but that's okay. I'm moving on and I'm just going to grow her and I'm going to appreciate her and love her for who she is and grow my children basically.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you guys, if you need help, don't know where to start, definitely check out Nnenna. And then also, Nnenna, you need to update your stats. You have earned more than $80,000 in scholarships.
That's true. I'm at
so it's like
100 and
figures at this point, right?
Let's see, 80, 90, 100, 110. I've earned about $115,000 so far.
In scholarships, you guys, by the end of her master's program, she would have earned like close to $300,000 maybe?
Yeah, probably.
Like
$300,000. I'm not paying for my PhD. Like, I don't pay for education. Like, that's just not something that I do. I just don't do that.
I just love how she said that. I mean, she was like, yeah, no, I don't pay for education. That's not what I do. Like, no, I don't do that. Like, she said that, like, somebody who said, like, no, I don't mess with people like that. No, that's not what I do. That's not what I do. Like, no, I don't pay for education. That's not what I do. Like, is that somebody you want to hang around? Well, I had to pay for education, but that's neither here nor there. Nnenna, I have enjoyed you 100%. You guys,
I love
you. Man, you guys have had like almost like a inside look to what an actual conversation is like between the two of us. Like,
we do this for hours, guys. Like, don't let this fool you. We just sit and talk and talk and talk, and I get inspired by her constantly. Y'all, she pushes me to be the best version of myself. So this woman, she's the one who actually inspired me to make my online courses. Like, I would not have done it without her like pushing me and nudging me. So it's like she inspires me to be the best version of myself, y'all, and I love her so much. Thank you, Keisha.
Oh, the love goes both ways. Thank you for your kind words. The love definitely goes both ways. I Cindy, my last week's episode, you guys have to check it out. In that episode, Cindy talked about prosperity and how she was willing to share her access to the masses because she was like, it's more than enough for all of us to go around. And so I feel that way with knowledge. It's more
100%.
Like, share it. It's okay. Share it.
Yeah.
It's totally okay.
Dr. Cindy is my editor too, by the way. Full disclaimer.
Full disclaimer. I'm telling you, like, yes. Cindy all up through these Houston streets. So you need to you need to check her out for sure. So then tell us, how can we find you across social media? Yes.
So I'm on Facebook at Achievement Consulting. I'm on Instagram at Nnenaya, NNENNAYA_darling. And then you can follow me on LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn, Nnenna Darlene Umelo. My first name, my last name, you can find me there and follow me. Those are the three major platforms that I use to communicate with my audience and when I come out with my courses, you can sign up there as well. So I'm just really excited to move forward with my children.
Yes. Do you have any events or workshops coming up?
Yes, I do actually. So at the end of March, I have a workshop called From Scratch to Success. And I'm teaching other entrepreneurs how to break into the higher education or public education industry. So this touches on what I said earlier. I don't really consider the other people in my industry to be competitors because they can't do what I do. So I found my lane and I'm not intimidated by other people. So I will share everything, y'all. But I'm not afraid of you coming and taking my money or anything like that. Like, I want you to be successful. If this is your passion, if you love this industry and you want to make your own lane, I want to help you do that. Like, I actually do want you to be successful. I'll tell you where I messed up. I'll tell you how I did well. I'll tell you the mistakes I made so that you don't have to make those same mistakes too. I am very transparent because I sincerely believe there's enough out here for everybody, and I'm secure in my own value and what I have to offer. So I'm more than willing to share. If you go on Eventbrite, I'm going to be in Houston at the end of March. It's called From Scratch to Success. You can also find it on my website, achievementconsulting.org. And if you forget all of that, just message me on Instagram or Facebook and I will send you the link directly. And I just want you guys to be successful. If you cannot show up at the physical event, let me know. And I'll even do a Zoom call with you and work with you through the entire workshop so that you can start your own business in this industry as well. Like, I am invested in your success.
You guys, come on. Isn't she amazing? Like, how many people will besides me go through that and do all that? Like, isn't that amazing? And you guys remember, this episode is sponsored by LinkedIn Strategist by Nnenna Mello. So get your discounted session, 30% off a 2-hour LinkedIn strategy session. You definitely want to check that out. Put Live Her Truth in the comment section so you can get that 30% off. I have personally sat down with Nnenna and she has trained me on LinkedIn, told me what I know thus far. So when you go over to my LinkedIn profile, you look at my network, I may have less than 250 people, but look at the people in the network though.
Yeah.
Because it's all about quality and not quantity. And Nnenna's going to teach you exactly how to have a quality network on LinkedIn, because that's what matters. So definitely check her out. The web address, once again, is linkedin.consulting.org/schedule. I would definitely leave that in the description box along with all of Nnenna's contact information, the website Eventbrite link. Send me that, Nnenna, so I can put that in there for the workshop that's coming up at the end of March. Guys, if you're interested in advertising on Living Her Truth, definitely shoot me an email at info@asisterstruth.com. Also, if you just work with me, you can shoot me an email at info@asisterstruth.com. So, yes, thank you, Nnenna, so much. You are
I love you.
I love you too, honey. I love you too. And you guys come back next week for my next episode of Truth. I am going to sit down with Marie Crawford. You don't want to miss it.
I'm going to be in the comment section watching, y'all. Come and hang out with me.
Fly, yes. This is this fly. I might have to give myself, all the way for Marie. Now, but she's another Kendrick soul. So definitely check me out next Monday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Living Her Truth. And we will see you guys next time.
Yes. Bye, guys. See you next week.